Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Harry Winston Ocean Triple Retrograde Chronograph. 44 millimeters in 18 karat rose gold. You can see this Harry Winston Triple Retrograde Chronograph on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there if you like. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now you can see on my wrist, 16 centimeters, 6 1/3 inches in circumference. This is a very large watch. 44 millimeters does not tell the whole story. Although it is 44 millimeters across the round of the case, I also want to call attention to the fact that it is 51 millimeters from extremity of lug to extremity of lug, and if we count the sheer flare, the swell of these conforming end-piece straps, the bottom line is that it's actually an immense 70 millimeters to the outermost rigid extremity of the strap. So if you want a big watch, if you're looking at something like an Hublot King Power, if you're looking at something like a 47 millimeter Panerai in the 1950 case, you need to consider the Harry Winston Triple Retrograde Chronograph because it wears just as big as those measurements suggest, and it has incredible wrist presence. You can see the full swell of the strap to the maximum outer measurements of the lugs themselves. So broad is this strap that it actually parallels the plane of the outer face of the lug. That's very unusual. Normally, a strap extends from within the lug and it never actually achieves parity with the widths of the lugs at their extremity. So not only does this watch have a large case, but it has a strap that creates the impression of a far, far larger timepiece. Now it's 14 millimeters thick, so it's not actually overly thick. You can wear this one more easily under a dress cuff than you can wear it on a small wrist. So if you've got the wrist for it, you can actually wear this with formal attire without getting hung up on the edges. I want to call attention to the fact that the case, the lugs, the strap are of incredible quality, very robust and beautifully nuanced. You can see everything from the character lines within the lugs themselves to the substance of this beautifully bolstered and cut strap on its side with its monotone stitch on both sides. The quality of the leather is peerless. It feels superb. Alligator, rectangular scale on the top, and a beautiful calfskin on the bottom. You can also see that the quality of the deployant clasp here is definitely a cut above. Harry Winston aspires to aristocratic status within high horology, and even in the Ocean and the Z lines, the bottom line is it's achieved. You don't need to step up to the Opus. You're getting it here. The quality of this double deployant 18 karat rose gold strap, even the intricacy of the release mechanism really impresses. It's very satisfying. And it's important to note that the Project Oceans and the Z series were conceived by the same people who brought you the Opus series. Max Busser, later of MB&F, but first of Harry Winston Rare Timepieces, conceived both the Opus as well as the Triple Retrograde Chronograph that you see here, and he brought in more watchmaking royalty to help it happen. He brought in Emanuel Geit, best known for styling the 1993 Royal Oak Offshore. That famous watch lends a little bit of its stance and a little bit of its physical presence to the Triple Retrograde Chronograph, but what you're seeing here is very much an independent styling effort. You can see the signature arches evoking Harry Winston's New York City flagship boutique entrance. You can also see the beautifully distinct forms of the case. Everything reads as a piece apart. You can see that polished chapter ring standing proud of the dial itself. You can see just how much character these separate screw-fixed lugs have. You can see the case back featuring a polished contrast to the brushed flanks of the case. Itself stands apart. Everything is designed to be read as a separate element to make this look like a physical construction, almost like the skyline of New York City around Harry Winston's headquarters. It has an impressively technical and imposing stance. Now, the dial is no less technical and impressive, featuring Triple Retrograde Chronograph. I'm going to show you what that means. Now, you can see the chronograph seconds hand at 6 o'clock is stopped on 50 seconds. So I'm going to set the chronograph movement in motion. You can see that the hand begins its trek towards 60, and when it reaches 60, watch what happens. Retrograde action for the chronograph hand. The minutes and the hours in their separate registers also feature retrograding action. So there's actually a lot going on this dial, and that's before we even get to the texalium base. It's essentially an aluminized fiberglass weave that creates a look of depth and 3 dimensions and a little bit of a dazzling effect as you move the watch through the light. It's alive, it's vivid, and it's nuanced, and it really does divide the watch dial into 2 separate portions. The lower portion, which features the chronograph functions, and a very small shiroken style constant seconds hand, or I should really call it a constant seconds disc within the seconds register, and the time, hours and minutes, at 12 o'clock. It's a beautiful composition, and it's an innovative way of tasking the caliber 1185 automatic chronograph movement. Now you know this one from its long service for Blancpain, Audemars Piguet, and Vacheron Constantin. The finish is somewhere between Vacheron and Rolex, and the best way to describe it is it's leagues above Rolex, maybe a step below Vacheron, but the quality of the construction, the finish of it, the vertical clutch, the column wheel actuation, the lazy 3 Hertz beat, and the beautifully traditional perlage combination with Côte de Genève, polished screw heads, and grained wheels makes this a true feast for the eye. You can really see traditional watchmaking at play while enjoying a unique and modernist take on the portrayal of time on the dial itself. Now you can stop it, reset it. Very, very tactily impressive because it is a column wheel chronograph movement under all of this apparatus. A column wheel chronograph movement and a vertical clutch system. So because you have that vertical clutch, you can leave it running indefinitely with no hazard to the movement. With a 40-hour power reserve, you can see this watch on our website, watchyouwant.com.